So we are going to go ahead and get into it, guys, because there is so much here to discuss, especially when it comes to the Brits. The Brits, it seems like there is a very clear route here that the government really, really wants to take when it comes to Donald Trump. And I just find that super duper fascinating because obviously there's not a lot of love, I don't think, between the current labor administration. I don't know, labor government. That's how the Brits call it, which is more liberal, and the Donald Trump government. So you have some interesting things here, but King Charles obviously sent his congratulations, and this will be a common theme. The royals send their congratulations. And this is in part because Donald Trump, number one, he loves royalty. He just does. The guy loves royalty. And they're really hoping that his love of the royals will result in a better relationship with the United States, because Donald Trump has made some clear indications in terms of what he wants to do when it comes to tariffs and things. I obviously don't know enough about that to say dilly squat, but it means something to obviously the UK government. And the UK government's greatest asset in this situation is Charles, Camilla, William, Catherine, Anne, Edward, Sophie, the Kents, the Gloucesters, whoever they can pull into the equation when it comes to this. And obviously, Donald Trump had a state visit in 2018. So it's been sort of interesting. I think mostly because of the COVID situation, President Biden did not get a state visit, which is somewhat rare. Usually you get a state visit. Now, in a different situation, if Queen Elizabeth was still on the throne, he may have not gotten a second state visit. But because we have a new monarch, in addition to Trump returning as president, it does actually make sense to extend an invitation for a state visit. And in his personal message to Donald Trump, who he's known for like quite a few years, I believe, the note, which we don't know the exact contents of, essentially, quote, reflected the enduring special relationship between the UK and the US, because obviously we were once colonies of the United Kingdom. We decided to secede. There was a whole war about it. So we don't have royals here, but we do like a bit of the pomp and ceremony. Donald Trump, of course, is no exception. So there are already preparations underway to an extended invitation, because we do have very competing, you could say, governments between the UK and the US, because the US is one of the most, if not the most powerful government on earth. The UK is smaller. So the UK is a little bit in a conundrum because they want a good relationship, but they don't have as much leverage as the United States. So it's one of those complicated things regarding governmental dynamics and foreign policy, which I do find rather fascinating, because everybody wants to make sure they can get what they can, but they also have to concede a certain number of things. All of these like little moving pieces are part of the grand strategy of what is foreign policy. So it looks like 2026 is going to be the year. Now, again, it's sort of odd because of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It would make sense for a royal to come here. And who is excited for that possibility? Me, because I will be utilizing every resource I can to try to be able to be here and like cover royals in person or over in the United Kingdom. Guys, I'm going to be utilizing every resource I have to try to get the connections, to get press credentials. That is my goal, but we will see what this entails. Of course, if there is a invitation for him to go to a state visit, that would be probably what Donald Trump would prefer, to be quite honest. And so I could definitely see him doing that. Again, it's a bit of a question, but we won't know until we know. Be on the lookout for 2026. And we also have here in 2025 the 80th anniversary at the end of World War II. So definitely there is a possibility as well here when it comes to Donald Trump. He will come over to the Europe for some sort of reason. I don't know exactly what event he'll go to, but I imagine there'll be some sort of commemoration for the end of the war. And so that will definitely be something to look out for as well. So Keir Starmer, who is the current Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, is interested definitely in utilizing the royal family as leverage to smooth the relationships between the two countries, especially with the tariff talks, because Trump is known for being a keen monarchist. Now, I will try to find it, and I should have pulled the URL for it, but I do have a couple of videos that are on my Twitter from way back in the day showing Donald Trump basically talking about his time with the royals and how much he enjoyed that.
And this is with Queen Elizabeth. Right here, who was fantastic, by the way. Look, here's now the king. Here's Charles with the guard. And this is the Queen Elizabeth. It's a piece of history at the highest level. And they'll see the most beautiful places in the world. There are no places like this. And hopefully he's going to be well, because he's a really good person. Camilla is fantastic. She was unbelievable. She was great. We had a very good relationship, really good.
And Donald Trump previously obviously met with Prince William in December. So we do have some here. Here is Donald Trump with Queen Elizabeth there for his state dinner. And then you got the ladies. This was sort of a pre-dinner held at the U.S. ambassador's residence. As a reminder, if you don't know, ambassadors for major countries are not career diplomats. They're usually political appointees. So somebody Donald Trump is either friends with or wants to or whatever. That is who factors into this particular situation. So Donald Trump really enjoyed this whole process. So I imagine he would be keen to do it again. They also get to do it in Windsor Castle this time because, as a reminder, for the next couple of state visits, they will all be held in Windsor Castle as Buckingham Palace undergoes some major renovations. So different venue, different situations, all those sorts of things. It also depends when it comes to travel, because I see Wendy here said Godspeed to King Charles for recovering his good health and ability to perform duties. You're right, because when it comes to Charles in this particular situation, because he is still undergoing treatments, like he's doing pretty well. I do always find it a bit concerning that he's still having treatments. So it might be that he is unable to travel for that trip, and it might be Catherine and William. Because to be quite honest, the younger royals, they are the stars. It would be great if the kids came as well. Would be fantastic to see the children. So that would be my personal desire is just to have it in that direction. So that is my personal thought there. We shall see though how that all comes together, but definitely moving and shaking here in this direction. But interesting to talk about as well though in this particular climate is what it means for Prince Harry. So we don't usually talk too much about Harry and Meghan on this program, but it is an actual interesting conundrum that you could say the US is in, because there has been a concerted desire to understand and know what Harry's visa status is. Now, I've been sort of mixed. I'm there's a part of me that sort of kind of doesn't care. There's a part of me that understands, yes, that if he lied, in particular, this is the allegation and why people are concerned, is that he acknowledged in his book his drug abuse. And if he lied about that on his visa form, then technically he should be kicked out of the country. Technically. So I don't think the administration will go that far, but many have speculated, and I don't think it's totally outside the realm of possibility, that the reason Harry did not go for his court case that began today is because of concerns. Would he be able to get back into the country? I think those are somewhat valid concerns. I don't know exactly, but there's obviously a lot of power unilaterally that the president holds. My suggestion, for what it's worth, to Harry and Meghan, which they probably won't take, but they should, is that it doesn't matter what you think about his politics. Stop trying to do the cosplay royal routine, because your leeway of doing that just died. If the two of them are caught sort of trying to play this cosplay royal stuff, I just don't think it'll go well for them. I don't think it'll go well for them. I think the Trump administration is going to absolutely hate that and just going to go, no, you can't do that, or just make their lives incredibly difficult. And depending on Harry's visa status, that could be really problematic. And if Harry's forced to become a citizen, it's like the choice is like, hey, we're going to revoke, let's say, if he has a diplomatic visa, which he should not have because he's not a diplomat, not related to a diplomat. That's not his role. He left the royal family to pursue his own greed. He's no longer a diplomat. Then he would have to give up his royal status and title. Meghan probably is only keeping him around for that, to be quite honest. So that's a huge conundrum Harry is in and Meghan are in, to be quite honest, because they like, where is the there? They don't know. So they are in a big pickle. I would tell them to just stay away from all that and just actually try to work. Appears that's the one thing they cannot do, but It's a possibility. And as a reminder, Trump met with the Prince of Wales in December. And so it seemed like they had a great chat and time together. And so I think Donald Trump is looking forward to it. And honestly, as well, guys, he met with the other royals too. And there just seemed to be a good interaction between them because that is their job. They're not there to relay their personal politics and feelings. They're there to be diplomats. That's it. Neither here nor there. No matter what, they're there to represent their country. They're there to represent their people who have all thoughts and opinions on a matter. So what their job is to do is to make sure that even if they don't particularly like Donald Trump, they don't like his policies, they don't like his behavior, let's say, they don't like his language or whatever, does not matter. Does not matter in the slightest because that's not their job to judge publicly that. Their job is to get, you could say, the best deal for their people, which means to just try to get along, try to extend a hand forwards. That's what royals do. So that is just an interesting sort of a thing going on right now for sure with the royals.